Today, I'm excited to be talking about the world's most powerful antioxidant that can help fight certain cancers and inflammation-related diseases. It's been designed to pass through your stomach and be absorbed into your body through the small intestine. The antioxidant harnesses the power of activated phenolics, which are found in high concentrations in apples, and University of Newcastle scientist Dr. Vincent Candrawinata has discovered a way to extract them using only water. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I am genuinely excited and grateful to have you on board. And I thought we could start by you explaining what you've achieved in terms of this world's most powerful antioxidant and what it means to be the world's most powerful antioxidant.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's really, I always cherish and treasure any opportunity that I can go out and share the stories with people, because not only is a great scientific breakthrough, but it also sort of kind of me looking back, a testament of how the result does not betray the effort that you put in. That's probably one of the creed that I live by, because when you put in the work, it's always really good to see that people around you are being very supportive and you see the result of your hard work. So everything started back in 2010 when I finished my bachelor degree with the University of Newcastle, and I literally had one extra year to sort of kind of figure out what I wanted to do, because I finished my bachelor degree in 2 years instead of 3 years. And the reason is not because I was so smart, it was actually because I was kind of poor. So coming from Indonesia, I'm serious, coming from Indonesia, the living cost in Australia is very expensive. So I thought that if I could finish my bachelor degree in 2 years instead of 3 years, it means that I'm saving. I would be saving a whole year worth of living costs.
Yeah.
So I rushed through my bachelor degree and then finished in 2 years. And then at that time, because as an international student, we needed a visa to stay in Australia. And I had that 1 extra year to basically figure out what I wanted to do. And it's almost like the universe had the answer. I got accepted into, it's almost like a short term course, but instead of doing the course, it's actually a research based project.
Okay.
And I thought that, this could be interesting. And the reason why I got interested with that project was because my supervisor back then told me that, hey, Vincent, do you like to make apple or study apple from orange? And I thought that, because I didn't grow up here, so I didn't know that orange is the name of a place. I thought that, wow, we're gonna win a Nobel Prize making apples out of oranges. So that then turned into a full year research, and I got really excited and really invested into basically championing this amazing produce from Australia, because orange, if people do not know about this place, you need to research more about this place, because it has a very unique environmental factors that really, in my case, support the best apples produced in the world. Because unlike other places, it has the heat of during the day of the sun. Yeah. But because of the elevation, it has a very cold night. So the difference, the contrast in temperature is really excellent for apple growing condition. And not to mention the volcanic soil of the area really provides good drainage, good nutrients from the soil for the plant to grow. Then a year after that, I was very fortunate to be awarded 2 scholarships to basically work with New South Wales Department of Primary Industries as well as Australian horticulture. I think now it's called Horticulture Innovation. Basically, these 2 amazing organizations helped funded my research, and at the end of 2011, beginning of 2012, I invented a technology to extract and activate phenolic antioxidants without the use of any chemical solvents. Phenolic antioxidants are not new compounds, are not new things in the scientific world. They have been known to be sort of kind of quote unquote the holy grail of antioxidants because it is very stable. It actually does the protective function to against free radical damage. So they are really an interest of almost all scientists in this field. The problem with these compounds were that before my technology came along, nobody could figure out how to extract and utilize these compounds in the form that is biologically compatible with our body. So before I invented my technology, the most well-known and most widely used technology to extract antioxidants are either using methanol, ethanol, or acetone, or ether even. So the issue is not that these solvents are toxic, because technology exists to remove the solvent from the final product. The main issue with this technology is that the extract being extracted from the plants, from the sources, they are not compatible with our biological function. Because just imagine if you take out a screw, a Phillips head screw with a flathead screwdriver, you're not really serving the purpose of having two different types of screw and screwdriver. So I like to imagine it as like you're extracting something using different things and then put it into a system where you know for sure our body does not have any of these chemical solvents. But what our body has is water. And the first step of our digestive function is hydrolysis, which is the breaking down of substances using water. So, I mean, the best way to learn and to invent something, in my opinion, is to study the nature, to study the biological function. And from that, I try to replicate it into my technology, into a technology. So in short, how my technology works is that I was able to manipulate the behavior of water molecule and basically utilize these water molecules to extract and activate the phenolic antioxidants in the form that our body can then utilize when it gets into our biological system. So the result of this technology dramatically increased the absorption rate of this phenolic extract in our body. So from 3 to 5% up to 97% in the optimal conditions. So immediately, this sort of kind of, and no pun intended, or maybe pun intended, this forbidden fruit, which is apples, is now unforbidden because we can access the world's most potent dietary antioxidant. Because not only we can absorb it and utilize it, this group of antioxidants do not pose risk of pro-oxidation, which other antioxidants might have the risk of that. And pro-oxidation is dangerous because, as the name suggests, instead of being an anti-oxidation, it actually promotes oxidation. And this can happen in our body. And our body has a really good self-defense mechanism against pro-oxidation that occurs naturally. So for example, I don't know if you have ever tried a detox program and tried to drink a lot of carrot juice or celery juice or beetroot juice. What happens is that the next time you went to the loo, it changes the color of your urine. And that is your body's sort of kind of way to flush it out, because if it stays in your body, it's actually damaging to your system. However, when it is chemical or synthetic antioxidant, your body is having a harder time to actually break it down and flush it out. And this is why in 2010, EFSA, European Food Science Authority or Association, published a really long population study in that they say that based on their population study, when people are taking synthetic antioxidant, in this case, I think they were studying vitamin E in particular,
Yeah.
and vitamin A, I think, they actually ended up with a higher risk of developing cancers, as well as some form of liver and kidney damage. And at that time, it was really baffling to the scientific community. But then if you trace back, it is not that unsuspected, because two major detoxification organs in our body are kidney and liver. So if you consistently put something into your body that your body cannot effectively process, your base, instead of protecting and helping your body to become healthier, you're actually burdening, you're adding extra workload to these two organs. And that's the reason why when the university first sort of kind of launched the product and introduced this technology to people in Australia, we got a lot of, I wouldn't say pushback, but for lack of better word, pushback from reputable news organization, including Australia Financial Review and ABC. And I said that, no, I agree with you. Antioxidants and health supplement can be dangerous. And we are very lucky to have journalists and media that communicate the danger, the risk and the danger of certain supplements or vitamin supplement. But this is the reason why I got really interested in doing my research, because if we can provide a way to present these amazing substances in a safe way, in the effective way, I really think that I personally can help make a little change. And that's the reason why I wanted to be a scientist in the first place. I was taught from a very young age that you have to make a difference in the world. It doesn't really matter what you do. You can be a teacher, you can be a painter, you can be a bus driver, or you can be a scientist. But I think we have to have it in us to make a difference. Maybe it's within your household, within your community, or people want to make this world a better place. I really hope that I can contribute to making this world a healthier place.
I really am sure you can. And so I wanted to ask you a few specific questions. I know about the pro-oxidation. So I was reading about it. So when you've got, like, say, a vitamin C, you've only got one arm on there. And if it picks up a free radical, it can then become unstable. Whereas your activated phenolics have got 3 arms on them, don't they? So, and they don't become unstable. Can you explain that a little bit for us?
Yes. So just imagine having a chair with just one leg.
Yes.
And if you sacrifice that one leg, then everything on top of the chair will then fall down. And then instead of having something that support whatever that you put on it, it actually makes more mess. It's the same thing with the molecules of antioxidants. The more hydroxyl group or hydroxyl arm that an antioxidant has, the more stable the antioxidant will be. And to explain a little bit about the stability of antioxidant, maybe we need to rewind a little bit, because I know you're a science communicator, so you are very well versed as to how antioxidant works. But I get this question all the time. How does an antioxidant actually protect our cells or fight free radicals and protect our cells from the free radical damage or from oxidation? So free radicals are, if you can imagine, a row of molecules that basically consistently trying to steal electrons from other molecules, including our cells, to make themselves stable. The way the antioxidant works to neutralize free radicals is that they, instead of allowing free radicals taking electrons from our body cells, antioxidant molecules will donate electrons to stabilize these rogue molecules or free radicals. But in doing so, if the antioxidants themselves are not stable enough to afford donating these electrons, then they then become free radicals. So if you do that repeatedly in a large, significant volume in the body every day, that's when you start to see the domino effect of this pro-oxidation damage.
How interesting. That's genuinely interesting. Yeah, until I read your papers, I didn't know about that. So yeah. And I was interested how you said that the way you've extracted it makes it more absorbable into the body. How do you know that? So how can you study that? How do you know that it's being absorbed into your body?
So we run what we call as simulated digestive system. So we know how our body works in terms of breaking down substances, in terms of the pH, in terms of the enzymes that goes into the process of the digestive system, and we try to replicate that in the lab basically. So basically, we're making a robotic stomach and intestine. So we literally follow this substance from the moment it gets into our body and to the point where it gets absorbed in the intestine. And this is also very enlightening process for me at that time, because a lot of times hindsight is 2020, so it's probably very simple for people now to understand, listening to my experience. However, at that time, and I also thought that, Vincent, you were so dumb back then. But basically, I didn't know that extracting these antioxidants was only the first step, because when you introduce something to your system, the first environment that it will be introduced to is a very, very tough environment, which is our stomach, because the pH is very, very low. And that is important, not only for digestion, but also to kill germs and impurities and viruses and bacteria, or most of it. This is one of our body's mechanism to protect ourselves. So a lot of times when you take a substance or when you take something into your body, it gets destroyed in the stomach because of the harsh environment. And if people want to do a little bit of an experiment at home, acai berry is one of the purported superfood. But if you actually mash acai berry or make it into like a juice or a substance, like a slurry, and squeeze lemon juice into acai berry mixture, it changes its colors because it can't withstand the acidic environment. And our stomach is much more acidic compared to just lemon juice.
Yeah.
So by doing this simulated digestive system experiment, not only I figure out the absorption rate, but I also then invented another layer of the technology, in that we need to protect this extracted and activated phenolic antioxidants and safeguard it up till the point where it gets absorbed in the first part of our small intestine. So this is the reason why I can talk all day about the experiments and everything, because this is what gets me excited. It is not the invention of stuff, but actually the question that you find out because you are doing the experiment. And I think everybody in science would probably agree with me in terms of this is the excitement. This is why most people get into the research field.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because obviously there's no use taking a supplement and it's just going to be destroyed in your stomach. So are you saying that acai berries, I totally know about those, that if you're eating those and they're purported to be really useful antioxidants, are you saying that they're not actually really doing you much good because your stomach basically destroys them?
What I'm saying is that, to not be controversial, what I'm saying is that fruit and vegetables are part of healthy diet and healthy lifestyle. You will never hear from me to say that, hey, take an apple a day and don't eat apple fresh, like in the fresh form, because I eat apples in the fresh form maybe almost every day, because I enjoy that. And I think that it is important to educate people that while our body sometimes need an extra boost or an extra help, it does not replace the importance of eating fresh fruit and vegetables.
No.
For example, acai berry sounds exotic to us because we don't grow it here. However, if you go to South America, it is just normal fruit. And this is a thing that, in my opinion, is a double-edged sword, because by using this sexy name like acai berry or mangosteen or superfruit or superfood, it gets people who otherwise will not be interested in healthy lifestyle or health food becoming interested in this. It makes this fruit interesting. It introduces the word antioxidant to people. So that is the positive side. But the negative side is that they are forgetting that we actually have a much better source of antioxidants, like apples, pear, which is plentiful here with a fraction of the price. And this is another thing that I believe, that I really do believe that you don't need fancy stuff to make you healthy. I mean, one of the best advice that I ever got is that when in doubt what you should or should not eat, ask your grandma. And they don't have access to these exotic fruit and vegetables or grains or super grains and anything. But I mean, I would argue that my grandma lived very, very healthy life. Aside from, my grandma used to suffer from arthritis, which the reason why I actually sort of kind of decided and reconcile my scientist self and the commercial part, because what we do as a scientist, we research, we found something, we publish. And the turning point was when I basically trialed this product with my grandma, and because she had a really, really severe arthritic problem on both of her knees, and it made me really sad, because she was a dancer when she was younger. Like, not only just a dancer, she was actually a ballroom dancer, and that required a lot of practice. And she was a very, very active person before her knees basically were too painful to stand up and to walk around, not let alone dance. Yeah. And this little experiment that I did, I gave it to my grandma, and 3 months later, my grandma was walking all the way from Haymarket to Circular Quay when she and my grandfather visited me and my sister in Sydney, in Australia. And I can never forget what she told me. She said that, "You have given me my life back." That's what she said. And that's the reason why the company is named Renovatio. For the first 6 months of our existence, people thought that we are either a interior designer, or a construction firm, because and Microsoft Word and every software will autocorrect to renovation. But I stuck to my gun, and I am going to keep sticking to my gun in terms of in terms of the name of the company. Yeah. Because Renovatio in Latin means a new life. And that is what I'm trying to achieve, to give people a better life, a healthier life, essentially a new life. And I think it's very important for me to have that as a reminder, because one thing that I am quite worried about being in the commercial world is that when profit becomes more important than the original value. But if you have it plastered in every document, in every product, I would hope that it serves as a reminder why Renovatio was founded, why Renovatio came to existence, which is to help people.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And I really admire all your hard work and what you've achieved. Like, honestly, it's genuinely impressive. And all right, so I'm starting to understand it a little bit more. Like, so I'll rephrase the acai berry sort of question in one way. So yes, you're advocating eating fresh fruit and vegetables, as anyone knows that they do keep you healthy. But a diet of fresh fruit and vegetables, it does only get you so far, doesn't it? Because then people do look for a supplement, or also our lifestyles aren't that healthy really in one way, that often we don't get the amount of fresh fruit and vegetables.
That's correct, because back then, I mean, I referenced our grandmothers or our mothers, but I have to say that back then they didn't have a lot of, not only the temptation of being less than healthy, but also the pollution and the food back then was pure in terms of contamination and everything. So yes, I have to agree with you that we do need in this kind of lifestyle, especially if people are really busy or people get very rushed with what they eat and eat a little bit more processed food compared to what people in the past did. I agree with you. Yes, we do sometimes need a little bit of help.
Yeah, a little bit of help. So then if you're shopping around for a good supplement, or you're shopping around for something that says, you know, this antioxidant's really going to help you, there are antioxidants and then there are antioxidants. So you could pick one that purports to, you know, sort of just be all fantastic and give you health benefits, but it may not be, it sounds like, whereas yours does have high absorbability into your body. So you could actually be taking a product that's not absorbing into your body very well. In terms of that would then be a waste of money, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be the case where you literally flush your money down the toilet.
Yeah.
And a really simple way of basically sort out which supplement that your body actually absorb is that when you take something and if it changes the color of your urine, it is a sign that your body is not absorbing it, and it's a sign that you're basically pouring the money.
That happens every time I take a multivitamin.
I mean, you look to me, and I did a little bit of I watched a little bit of your show as well. You look to me, and you seem to me as someone who lead a very healthy lifestyle. I would imagine that you probably get majority of your micronutrients, which the sort of kind of the things that are in multivitamin from what you eat. So I am not surprised if you say that when you take multivitamin, it just passes through your body.
Yeah.
Because your body doesn't need it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So if you're a relatively healthy person, like you yourself look very healthy and you strive to eat a good diet, how can taking, say, the product a day, how can it sort of top up your health? What could it still be doing in your body if you are getting sort of enough fresh fruit and vegetables every day? Can it still help?
So, yeah, it can still help. The significant effect in terms of improvement or in terms of a positive change, people usually feel it if they have poor health or if they have pain and aches.
Yeah.
However, if you're healthy, what I would probably suggest you to look at in terms of what you can feel the improvement in, two things: energy level and digestive system. Yeah. And these two things, usually, it doesn't really matter whether you are extremely healthy or just reasonably healthy or a little bit less than healthy. You, day in, day out, you will have days in the week where your energy level is not very high or when your digestive system is not 100%. So after taking the products for the first time, even if you're a healthy person, look at these two aspects of your health. And majority of our customers who try it for the first time, when they don't actually have issues, find out that it helps them in these two aspects. But for me personally, I feel it the most when I'm extremely tired or I'm coming down with something. So I can be taking it for months and months, and I don't feel that it gives me more energy every day. Yeah. But what I don't realize in the background is that when I don't take it, I actually feel really down in terms of I think I could do more if I take an apple a day every day. And usually that happens when things gets really busy or really hectic, or because coming from Indonesia, in Indonesia Indonesia has 2 seasons only, like hot and very hot. So I know that all of my friends here always make fun of me when I complain about the winter, about the cold weather during winter, and they always say that. But you're in the sunshine Sunshine State.
Yeah, that's true.
For the rest of us down south, people always say that Vincent, this is not even a real winter. And I always said that yes, to you or to people in the UK or in Alaska, but to an Indonesian born person, this is cold.
Yeah.
So I always feel that I used to fall sick probably a week as we go into winter, because I always think of my body adjusting to the colder weather. However, touch on wood, it hadn't happened in the past. If I don't get sick this winter, 4 winter in a row. And I know during that time I would always double dose on my activated Phenolics powder, and I mix it with warm water. So I sip it throughout the day.
Oh, wow. So do you think in a busy life, if you take just a teaspoonful of it in warm water, say, do you think that's then pretty much the equivalent of you eating the fresh apple as a replacement?
In terms of the antioxidant, not only you get the replacement, you get much more than just eating an apple. However, don't do this for a long term, not because of the antioxidant part. The antioxidant part is safe. The antioxidant part will supply you with enough protection and everything, but there is more than antioxidant from eating fruit and vegetables. They're the fibers. They're the minerals, if you eat like celeries and stuff like that. And many people do not know this, but there are a lot of green leafy vegetables that are rich in calciums, that also helps your general well-being. It helps your nutrients intake. So the answer to your question, in short, in terms of antioxidants intake, yes, absolutely yes, but don't do it for long term. I think there's also the element of missing real food. I think that as much as people want to find ways to create meal replacement or to create space food and stuff like that, but as a human being, as Homo sapiens, I think there's something missing when you do not chew, when you do not prepare fruit and cut fruit and vegetable or any other food group, because there is a source of us touching the food. It fulfills all of the senses. And not only that, there's also the social aspect. I always am a big believer that there is nothing that you cannot solve over dinner.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Yeah, that is very true. There is that aspect too. Yeah.
And while physiological health is important, psychological health is also important. And I think food is something that is very important.
Yeah, I really agree with you. Well, I'm really interested in how your product can help people with arthritis, aches and pains, that sort of thing, because I mean, I've certainly got my share of aches and pains. Like I get tennis elbow, I get inflammation in my back. I've had spinal surgery actually, so early disc degeneration, that sort of thing. So how could these powerful antioxidants, if I'm taking them into my body, how can they help with inflammation?
So phenolic antioxidant helps with lowering inflammation, which is the root cause of all the pains and aches. And a lot of people do not know this, but inflammation is the root cause of a lot of degenerative health issues, including cancers, including arthritis, autoimmune diseases, and everything, and liver diseases. They all started from inflamed cells. And when our cells are being inflamed for a long period of time, it sort of kind of put them under pressure. And to explain it simply, they will then mutate. And when they mutate, it will cause issue to our body. So the way that it can help our body from as far as relieving from pain and aches and everything is by resolving the inflammation. So it allows, because our cells in the presence of antioxidant do not have to worry about fighting off free radicals, fighting off oxidation. It can concentrate into doing what's what it's supposed to do, be it the function, be it managing inflammation rate, be it doing all the secretion of all the byproduct of the metabolic process, be it utilizing oxygen in the proper way. Because when we talk about respiration, we probably only think of what we are breathing in and breathing out. But each and every one of our cells, and there are trillions of cells in our body, each of them are basically an independent living unit that also breathes. We call it cellular respiration. And during this cellular respiration, it creates free radicals. It is an internal source of free radicals. And if we can help ourselves to manage and, for lack of a better word, flush out and neutralize these free radicals, it means that it can concentrate on other pressing issues, such as inflammation.
Wow. So, because I've done a lot of work with red light therapy as well, and that can also help with inflammation. But how red light therapy helps is it can knock off the nitric oxide molecule and upregulate your cell. So it sounds like antioxidants they're coming in also to help the cell by taking away harmful molecules too.
Yes, because cellular respiration, which because you said something about the nitric oxide, cellular respiration, it's probably in the most simple and general way, it's broken down into 3 stages: the glycolysis, the Krebs cycle, and the proton pump transfer. And in all of these stages, all of these 3 stages, they are byproducts. They are inefficiency of our cells in terms of producing ATP, which is the energy. And one of the byproducts is nitric oxide. And that is something that a stimulus from outside, in this case, from what you're talking about, is a red light therapy, may help with this activity.
Wow. Yeah, that's really useful. And I'm also interested in your face cream as well. That's got, because I looked at one of your news broadcasts. A man was talking about really severe sunburn, and he mixed your...
Yeah, I am forever grateful for Andrew, which is that man, which I mean, I can honestly tell you it was a pure accident. He had been using our powder at the time for months, and then he in his word, not mine, he relied too much on his olive complexion in terms of not getting a sunburn. And he went to the beach, he got a severe sunburn. And he tried everything that usually work for sunburn, like aloe vera and the cooling gel and stuff like that. Nothing worked, and he had to work on Monday, and he looked burned. So he contacted us. He for some reason he decided to mix the powder with water and use it as a face mask to basically calm the inflamed skin. And then it worked. And then the next day he contacted us and said, "Hey, do you by any chance have in the liquid form or cream form?" And I said that no, but why did you ask? Because it's a very random question to ask when you call 1-800 number of a company. So I said that, he told me the story, and I said that, "Hey, I will send it to you." And I said, "Oh, how long do you think it will take?" And I think to date, that's probably one of the most expensive freight I've ever paid, because it arrived there in 2 hours. And he tested it, and I said to him, I said that, "Hey, if you don't mind taking picture of your progress every day." And at the end of the 3rd day, his skin was actually better than before it got burned. I'm not saying this to people, go and burn your skin. No, I'm just saying this to explain that even though I invented this technology and this product, this active ingredient, it still blew my mind away, because I understand a little bit about the chemistry of skincare and cosmetic and everything, but that was not the field that I was concentrating on, because I was concentrating more of the cellular inflammation. But that goes to show that the application of this product is so fast, and we do not know what it can do yet in terms of the application. And I'm really excited that this year, hopefully, fingers crossed, we will resume our clinical trial, which was delayed because of the pandemic last year. And I really, really am excited because the more we know about this substance, the more application that we can do with this technology, the more chance that I can have towards achieving my dream in terms of making people healthy.
Yeah. What is your clinical trial? I was going to ask you about trials, like what trials have been done, and what's the one that you're talking about now?
So the one that I really am interested in for now is specific to arthritis, because obviously the original plan was for co-pairing, and I'm just going to preface it with saying this is not, I'm not talking about the product, because I think in Australia I'm always very grateful that we have a really good regulatory bodies, the TGA, and I do not want to mislead people, and I'm just prefacing this. I'm not talking about the product, I'm talking about the research. So the research originally was for a co-pairing treatment for pancreatic cancers.
Okay.
So it is not to cure cancer, but the research sort of kind of aim to increase the quality of life post-diagnosis. Because as a lot of people probably know, because Steve Jobs suffered from that, the prognosis after you being diagnosed, or someone is being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, is not very good. And it's a very rapidly developing type of cancer. So that was the very first intention why we want to isolate and extract this antioxidant. However, as I understand more about the product, I probably am more interested in seeing how it can increase the quality of life in terms of pain. I think this is also heavily influenced by my grandma's experience, and knowing how significant the life quality become after. I mean, as a young person, I just can't fathom how someone lives with pain every day. I mean, I complain after a hard session in the gym, but that's self-inflicted. Okay, imagine doing that. I just can't fathom. So I really want to find out more in the clinical setting, what it can do. How can we do this in the clinical setting? How we can work with a general practitioner once we have this clinical trial result? Because I do think that there's only so much that we can rely on steroid. If we can go through another route, or even if it can just help to reduce the dose and the frequency of the steroid medication to reduce the inflammation, that would be a win too. So that's the reason why I'm really, really interested in this clinical trial, which I can't divulge much more than that, because what we're trying to do, this is my scientist hat on, we want to be as removed as possible from the clinical trial. We are third factors removed from the hospital that's actually doing a clinical trial, because I want it to be as objective as possible. I want it to be something that we can use to improve people's quality of life in the way that they can move without pain.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And so how will the patients be taking the antioxidant form? Do you know how they'll be taking it? Will it be in the powder form or the tablet form, or in a different form from the lab? I still
like to, we're doing both forms of tablet and powder, because as I understand more about our customers, some people just simply can't take powder. Some people just simply can't take tablets. So if we're doing it in the way that that is realistic for people to use every day, I wanted to, I mean, this is not something that is scientifically restricting or anything. So as much of a real life situation that we can replicate in the study, in my opinion, it's better because you know, I mean, obviously, when people know that it works, they will take it in any way form that it comes. I mean, people go through really bad pain with being injected with steroid, which you know, they power through that because it helps them, or it helps to reduce the pain. But to answer your question, we're gonna do it in two different forms of administering the substance into the body. I also, in the future, I'm also interested in creating a little bit more different method of delivery. Maybe it's in the liquid form, maybe it's in the form that people in the higher or more senior age group can take as well. If you try to be healthy, I really think that you need to start with what you put into your body.
Thank you for your time.
Too.
Really excited to have you on the channel too, and just thank you.
Thank you so much, and hopefully we can keep in touch.
Oh, absolutely. See you later.
See you, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, we all know the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctors away, but a world-first Australian discovery is taking that to the next level.
So, could it be true? We sent Lara Vella to investigate.
Lab at the University of Newcastle, exciting things are happening to the humble apple.
Who would have thought that there is a superhero in apples, and unleashing this superhero with these super benefiting compounds really speaks to what we do here as a scientist.
Thanks to Dr. Vincent and his team, a groundbreaking extraction method using water, not chemicals, has transformed the immune-fighting goodness of 8 apples into a teaspoon-sized supplement.
This guarantees you a high absorbability. As opposed to 3 to 5% from apples, you get 90% from activated phenolics. And this is very important because what counts is what your body can absorb and utilize.
And that, he claims, is the key difference between this and other supplements on the market.
If you would imagine, ultra antioxidants are like superheroes in your body, going through your body and mopping and fighting these free radicals from damaging our cells. And some people have told me that they strongly believe after taking this product, they get a relief from back pain, they get a relief from joint pain, and they even report that they have a healthier looking skin.
Carpenter Jai Edwards taking a daily dose to help relieve the symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome.
I'd say with the IBS, within a week of taking this product, it's definitely helped. I've noticed a big increase in energy, motivation, my memory. Yeah, it's helped with all of that, definitely. Instead of hitting the snooze button twice of a morning, I'm getting up with the first alarm.
Did you ever think a supplement would be able to give that to you?
No, nothing. Something as simple as an apple powder, an antioxidant. And I have tried different products in the past, and to be honest with you, I have had nothing compare with this.